Yo, what's up YouTube? Back with another video, back with another banger. And today I'll be doing something a little different than I've done before. Today I'll be doing a story time video. Now first off, I want to say Happy New Year to all of you. Hope you're having a blessed day. And I wanted to start out the new year with something a little different. So today will be story time episode 1. And today I'll be telling some weird slash crazy slash interesting stories that have happened in my life. And I'm going to start out with this one story about this one guy. Now, I'm going to protect his name. I don't have beef with this guy whatsoever. I'm not trying to dox him or anything like that. So for the purpose of the story, I'm going to call him Anthony. Now, Anthony is just some guy, freshman, sophomore year of high school. I remember him. He did a lot of weird slash crazy slash interesting stuff. I mean, sometimes it was funny, but for the most part, it was more annoying than anything. And it got on a lot of people's nerves. Now, to start this story off, I'm just going to say I didn't really know him that well freshman year. I didn't see him very often. Like I think he might. It was the same year as COVID, so he might have only come for a couple of days. But uh, and then a couple of days out of the week, and we'd only see him like 2 days a week. But I do remember one thing that he did. One thing he did was he played basketball, and we were on our way home from a basketball game, and what happened was he was we were on the bus, and we're all tired from the game and whatnot, and it's a long ride home. So what we do is, so what he did is there was one guy sleeping, and for the purpose of this video, I'm going to call him Jerome. Now, Jerome is this big, he was like 6'4", 230 pounds, something crazy like that. Probably not someone you want to mess with, but Anthony, he gets the bright idea to go get a bottle of water and pour water on his head while he's sleeping and has his AirPods in. So he obviously doesn't take very kindly to this, and so he decides to give him one warning to not do that again, which technically Anthony does listen to, but he tells another guy to pour water on Jerome's head. So the other guy does it, and Jerome gets mad and gets up and just starts punching the crap out of this other guy, and inevitably he gets thrown off the team. Which honestly, it is kind of unfair considering the fact that Anthony was the one who instigated it. He deserved to get thrown off the team too, and he ends up going away unpunished. I mean, it was probably wrong for Jerome to be punching that guy, but still, none of this would have happened if it wasn't for Anthony. And also, something else at the end of freshman year, this was like the last week of school, we were working on a final exam review guide for English. It was me, Anthony, and then some other girl. I'm going to call her Denise for the purpose of this story. And so Denise, like, she's on her phone, and what Anthony does, and what I heard he had been doing all year in his classes that he actually came to school for, he would be taking people's phones, and what he did is obviously the phone was locked. He pressed the power button on the phone and would be trying to text people like using Siri because he activated Siri using the power button, and he would text like guys on her phone and then say I love you and stuff like that. And he would text her friends, like one of her friends, and said I hate you, which just doesn't make any sense why I want to do that. Like all that's gonna happen is she's just gonna have to clear this up, and it's just gonna make it awkward between them. Like I don't know why. I don't know what sort of pleasure he got out of doing that. I don't know like why he just enjoyed trying to make people upset, but uh, it was something that he was doing all the time. Like I'm only telling stories of stuff that I personally have seen him do. There was probably a lot of stuff he did that I didn't see, and but That's one of the things I heard, and I figured, okay, maybe this is the end of freshman year. He's probably going to learn a lesson. He might chill out over the summer, but no, he had an obsession with taking people's phones. Like he would like every chance he got, if your phone was out on your desk or on the floor under your desk, he would pick it up and take it. He had like I don't know. He probably took like a total of like four phones every single class or something like that, and it was getting on people's nerves. And he would still be texting people. Like he took this one guy for the purpose of this video. I'm gonna call him Weston. He took his phone and then held down the power button to text his girlfriend, "I love you" for him. Only problem is it didn't text his girlfriend. It texted one of her relatives, and he had to clear everything up with that person. I'm like, why are you intentionally trying to do this? It's just going to make it awkward between him and whoever that is, and you're not going to get anything out of it. Like, it doesn't make any sense. But among that, something else he would do is he had this spray, like this liquid in a bottle. I'm assuming it's hairspray. I don't know what it was, but he would spray whoever was sitting near him with it, and all that really resulted in was just people moving seats away from him. But for those who had assigned seats, it was horrible. It's like we're just sitting like imagine just sitting there and people just start spraying you. That's gotta be annoying. And and also he'd always have food in the class, and even though oftentimes he wasn't allowed to eat, he'd still do it anyway. He didn't care, but he would have these Mike and Ike's one time, and then with that same guy Weston, he just had some in his hand and just put him in Weston's face and went, "Say, oh, like." Bro, what are you even trying to do? And you know what's ironic about that? Whenever you actually asked him for food or anything like that, whenever people would do that, he wouldn't listen. He wouldn't share it. He would he would just keep it all to himself. So I don't really know what to make of that. But also there was another time he had a Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich and just took a giant bite out of it and then just went around offering it to people, and then as he was eating, he was chewing with his mouth wide open and saying, "Hey, look at me!" Like like everyone thought it was disgusting. No one appreciated it, and I just don't understand, like for the life of me, why you would choose to do stuff like that. And also, something else that he would do is one time it was in the middle of class, like he was chewing some gum. He pulled it out and then just started swinging it around like a rodeo cowboy. I'm like, dude, why are you acting like a little kid? Like, and you wonder why no one takes you seriously. Like, I ain't gonna say anybody took me seriously, but come on, I didn't do stuff like that. But obviously, among all that stuff that he would do to other people, no one appreciated that. And sometimes he got a reaction out of people, which honestly was what he was looking for. But what he would do is, whenever people started chasing him for it, he'd start scooting across the floor to try to get away from them. And then, when they were about to let him have it, he said, "Hey, don't hit me! Don't hit me!" And he said, "Look, I'm gonna punch myself." He started punching and choking himself. It didn't make any sense. Like, and that didn't stop anybody, or maybe it might have stopped a few people because they just thought the entire situation was funny, but still, I didn't really understand it. But something else that Anthony enjoyed doing was um, trying to mess with people who couldn't really defend themselves. Like, for example, there was this one girl, she was on the spectrum, and he would go up to her and like start touching all her crap, and then he'd start hitting himself in the head with her pencil pouch for some reason, and eventually like he ended up getting detention for that, and he'd be complaining about it all day. I'm like, dude, you shouldn't have done that. Like, why'd you do that? Like, for starters, you shouldn't do that anyway. You shouldn't mess with people's stuff. For another reason, why are you doing it to someone who can't defend themselves? Like, that's not cool. And also, what he would do with her is like there was another time where she was like doing a speech that we had to do in English class where she was talking about how animal experimentation is cruel, and also how the agricultural industry, the meat processing industry is cruel as well, which might be a fair point. I mean, personally, I don't really care about that stuff, I'm gonna be honest. But what he did is he started chanting, "Eat more chicken! Eat more chicken!" And then the girl started crying. I mean, obviously. So, and he didn't feel bad for it at all. Like, he showed no remorse whatsoever. And just goes to show the type of guy he was. And also, keep in mind this was a Christian school. Like, so there was one time, like, we had a Bible class, and the girl on the spectrum was in the same Bible class as him, and she mentioned how she doesn't like writing Bible verses, and he said, "Oh, so you don't like God?" And that got a pretty negative reaction out of her. So sometimes, like, I just think just leave those people alone if you don't want any problems. I mean, if you don't want to get in trouble, like, because obviously, if you mess with those people, the administration, like the people in charge, all the teachers, they'll take higher priority with those people if you mess with them. But anyway, something else he would do is like he would just say stuff to get on people's nerves. Like, for example, that like if you remember that one song people used to always sing back in like fourth grade whenever they thought two people liked each other, like the Jack and Jill sitting in a tree, like he would be singing that. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, because for one thing, just let people, like, leave people alone if they're talking with each other. For another thing, you're in 10th grade. Like, why are you trying to act like an elementary schooler? Like, it just doesn't make any sense. It was dumb in middle school. Like, why do you think it'd be cool to do it now? I mean, I don't understand why he thought it was entertaining or anything like that, but it was really more annoying than anything. But I will admit, a lot of the stuff he did, it did make class more entertaining. It did help me get through sophomore year because it was pretty funny when it didn't involve me. That is. And something else he would do. There was some other guy had the same name who had the same name. I'm just gonna call him Anthony as well, I guess, because that seems pretty fitting. What he would do is he'd go up to him and talk his about how his sister was hot. He'd do it over and over again. Keep in mind this Anthony guy, the original Anthony guy I'm talking about, who this video is about. He has a girlfriend. I don't know how, but he has a girlfriend, and he's still saying stuff like this. Like, you can't go around saying this. It's annoying and no one wants to hear it, especially not to his brother. Like, he did nothing to deserve it. I mean, I could probably make a video about the other Anthony guy, but he didn't do anything to Anthony 1 to deserve it. And so eventually he kept doing that over and over again. So eventually Anthony 2 decided to knee Anthony 1 in the balls, and he just started crying, and it was pretty funny to see, especially for all the people he had annoyed in the past. So I feel like he deserved it, and uh, something else he did, like there was this one time, there was this Sonic drive-in restaurant that was across the or down the street from where I went to school, and I went there after school one time, and I saw him there, and what he did is he ordered some food, but then what he decided to do was he pulled a hair out of his head and put it in the food and asked for an extra, like, fry or something like that. Yeah, I think he put it in his fries and asked for an extra additional fry or like tater tots or something like that. And like, I'm thinking, okay, maybe you got extra food there, but come on, that's costing the restaurant money. That can get the workers in trouble. Like, if food goes in there and they get a complaint about it, they're going to get in trouble probably, and also they have to make an extra they have to make you an extra fry because you decided to be selfish. So that obviously goes to show the type of person that he was. And To end this off, I'm gonna end with like the two, like three more things he did, and you see, for one thing, there was this one guy at the beginning of this year. I guess I'll call him Renner, and this guy named Renner, uh, he apparently that one girl. There's this one girl there. I'm gonna call her Alyssa, and this Alyssa girl, she had a boyfriend already, but Renner, he would be asking her for her number and like say, "Hey, you want to hang out this weekend?" And she'd be like, "No, I have a boyfriend." But he'd still be asking her like, I don't know, Alyssa. She said that he's probably high or something like that. I don't remember, uh, but Renner, he ended up leaving the school, so but what would happen is like throughout the rest of the year, Anthony would be going up to in class and saying that Alyssa said yes to Renner and stuff like that, even though she already had a boyfriend or whatever, and would be making a scene saying, "Oh, she gave Renner her number and stuff like that," which no one took him seriously, to be fair, because everyone knew he was an idiot. Everyone knew the type of person he was, so it really wasn't that big of a deal. But still, it was more annoying than anything. So what ends up happening later, though, is he'd been saying going up to Alyssa's boyfriend and saying that he was trying to slide on his girl and whatnot, which is just not something you say to her boy or anything like that, because I mean it's just not cool. And so what happened was he did it one time in the lunch line and said, "Hey, I'm gonna slide on your girl," and then so what happened was Alyssa's boyfriend went and just shoved him, and so and he started crying. Apparently, like I don't know if he actually started crying. That's what I heard. So I'm just gonna include that. And so honestly, he kind of deserved that. I mean, I feel like a lot of the stuff he does, he definitely deserves what comes to him. Like, I mean, if you're looking for a reaction, don't be mad when you get it. It's like, why would you do this stupid stuff in the first place? But also, something else he did is one time, I might have mentioned how he had an obsession with taking people's phones. So eventually, one time we were in Spanish class, and I had a Spanish class with Anthony, and he was taking my phone, and I eventually got mad at him. I'm usually a chill guy. I don't look for conflict. I don't try to fight people. But he took my phone. I got tired of it, so I just got up. I just picked him up, and I just body slam tackled him, and he was just scared the rest of the day. And uh, so eventually, like it's going to get the reaction that you don't want. Like I don't know why you're doing this stuff if you don't expect people to react. If you expect people to react, and if you don't expect people to react, then you're just stupid at that point. But to end off this story, there's going to be one more guy I'm gonna and for the purpose of this video, I'm gonna call him Davis. And like Davis, he also played basketball as well, and like he was only there sophomore year. So what happened with Davis was like he was one of the main people that Anthony was trying to get on his nerves all the time, basically all the time. And but every time he did it, like without failure, he would react and he would chase him down, and like that was probably like nine times out of 10, Anthony would start punching himself for doing that. So what happened with Davis is there was one time we were all taking a test in Spanish one time, and so what he decided to do was like keep in mind it's not like he's taking a retest or a makeup test or anything like that. It's a test. is a day where we're all taking a unit test together. And so he sees Davis on his phone cheating. So what he does is he pulls out his phone to take a picture of Davis while he's cheating. And he tries to tell the teacher that Davis was on his phone cheating during the test, while he's blatantly forgetting the fact that he took his phone out while he's doing the test, and he doesn't look any better doing that. Like, and I'm probably about 90% sure that he was probably also cheating on the test. I mean, um, because like he would also, because sometimes he would help me. Like there was this one guy who sat behind us who would give us all the answers because it was a Spanish class and he actually spoke Spanish, but he would give us all the answers. But what happened? But he would look across the room and he'd take his phone out to take a picture of the guy who's using his phone on the test while he's taking the test as well. And he didn't look any better. I mean, sure, the other guy probably shouldn't have his phone out, but like just let him be. Like um, and he didn't end up getting in trouble because I mean it's kind of counterproductive to take your phone out to try to get someone else in trouble for using their phone. But anyway, to end this off, there's a lot more I could go into Anthony and about what Anthony and Davis were doing. Not to be confused with Anthony Davis, but you see, there was this one other time he had the bright idea, and for some reason, and people started joining in, including me. What happened was, uh, if any of y'all play football, like y'all should know what the Oklahoma drill is. It's basically where where there's one person running the ball and one person who's tackling. There might be people blocking, but he has the idea to do it in the middle of class. And we're doing it in the middle of class, and like it's probably pretty stupid because obviously someone's going to get hurt because there's some states that literally banned it in practice because people are getting hurt. And keep in mind, it's the middle of class with no pads on or anything, like in a hard surface. And we're doing that. But like once we're doing that, he has a football in his hand, and Davis is turned the other way. So what Anthony decides to do is he tries to run full speed at Davis, and he yells Oklahoma drill. He runs full speed at Davis and knocks him over. So what happens is Davis turns around and then he just charges even harder at Anthony after he gets back up, and he just starts beating the crap out of him. So I don't know what happened from there. All I remember is that Anthony would have to apologize later on for what he did, and I mean it wasn't sincere. It was just something that I think either his parents or the school made him do. But there was a lot more stuff this dude did. We both ended up leaving the school after this year. I don't know what he's up to now, but it still made sophomore year very interesting. I mean, um, just but that's all for today. I mean, just let me know what y'all want to see in the comments. The history content that will keep coming. I just haven't had any time over break to go to any historic sites or anything like that. So just let me know what y'all want to do in the what y'all want me to do in the comments. And with all that being said, I'm out, y'all. Peace.